Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with another episode of the Dong Report, where I give out my favorite MLB home run predictions of the day. As for today, we do have a lighter MLB betting slate because it's a travel day, but that did not stop me from finding 3 home run predictions that I did really like. Of course, before I can give you those picks, I got to do a recap. So since I did not have a video on Saturday and Sunday, I'm just going to recap the entire weekend. So I'm recapping Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it was an awesome weekend. I was able to be profitable all 3 of those days. Granted, it was a slight profit each of those days because I got 1 home run to hit on all 3 days. So it's 1 home run Friday, 1 home run Saturday, 1 home run Sunday. But luckily with these home run predictions, all you need is 1 of them to hit a home run and you are profitable. So we were profitable all 3 days, up about 2.5 units on the weekend, which is great because that brought our total, it is a loss, but our total loss on the season, we are now below the minus 10 unit mark of loss, which is great. We have gotten ourselves in the single digits, units being down, but we have been up over 8 units since June 1st. So really the beginning of the year was just absolutely brutal. For an extended period of time now, things have been really, really good. Again, since June 1st, we are up over 8 units. So hopefully that can continue today. Hopefully we can keep this train rolling, get ourselves in the green on the entire season by the end of July. I think that's a reasonable goal to have. Things have been really good. Let's hope it continues. Before I can give you today's picks, which I just want to make sure quickly that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel if you're not already. And then if you could like the video and comment on this one specifically. And then if you're interested, I do have a Dub Club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month. $5 gets you everything that I'm giving out, gets sent directly to your phone. So if you're interested in that, just check out the link in the description. And let's get into it. So 3 bangers, starting with the first one in the Twins versus White Sox game. I am going with Luis Robert Jr. to hit a home run plus 330 odds at FanDuel. And as you can see on the screen here, this is going to be a 3/4 unit play, which is $75 for me. And Luis Robert Jr., he did miss some time earlier this season. He missed about basically 2 months from early April to early June. But so because of that, I'm saying he does not have enough at-bats to qualify among the Major League Baseball league leaders. But don't let that take away from how great, phenomenal of a season he is having. So because he's missed those 2 months, again, he doesn't qualify for anything, but just look at his overall stats. An ISO rate of 27%, a barrel rate of 15.7%, both of which those are in the excellent category as defined by Fangraphs. And that would be the 7th best ISO rate in the MLB with the 11th best barrel rate. So he's top 12 in both ISO rate and barrel rate. And also, he's one of the rare batters that qualifies as excellent in both categories. He also is facing a right-handed pitcher, and he hits right-handed pitching significantly harder. 9 of his 10 home runs have come against right-handed pitching. His ISO rate jumps up to 28.9% against righties, with the biggest gap, the biggest reason why he's able to hit so many more home runs against righties, aside from the sample size, is his hard hit rate goes from 22.2% against lefties all the way up to 35.2% against righties. That's a pretty massive gap of his hard hit rate from going from left-handed pitching to right-handed pitching. And not only is he facing a right-handed pitcher tonight, but he is facing a very mashable, a pitcher that you definitely want to target for giving up home runs in Chris Paddack of the Twins. Paddack allows a barrel rate of 9.8%. That's the 7th worst barrel rate allowed in the MLB. A hard hit rate of 43.5%. That's the 8th worst hard hit rate allowed in the MLB, and he allows an average exit velocity of 90.3 miles per hour. That's the 10th worst. So those 3 stats are telling you that he allows solid contact and he allows hard hits. He also has a pretty decently high fly ball rate as well at 41.4%, which would be the 26th worst in the MLB of all qualified pitchers. So his fly ball rate isn't as bad as this hard hits and solid contact he allows, but still very bad. I mean, bottom 30 in the MLB. And he throws a fastball of just below 43% of the time. That's essentially Luis Robert Jr.'s best pitch in terms of power. I'm saying best pitch because I also want to take into account the sample size as well. He's seen a ton of fastballs, and he's hitting, his ISO rate is 37.5% against fastballs. His second best pitch in terms of power, when also taken into account a larger sample size, is a slider, which he has a 32.4% ISO rate against sliders. And Paddack throws a slider about 17.5% of the time, and that's his 3rd most frequent pitch thrown. So Luis Robert Jr., he has not seen Paddack yet. in his career, but it is a matchup made in heaven for him to mash a home run. Let's hope he does as our first play. Next up, we're heading to the Rockies versus Reds game, and I'm taking Michael Toglia to hit a home run plus 360 odds at FanDuel. This is going to be another play in which I'm putting 3/4 of a unit on. And I'm actually going to have two plays for this game. This Rockies-Reds game, unsurprisingly on a small sample size, and the fact that it's played at Red Stadium, the best game of the day by far, 4 home runs to be hit from a weather perspective. It's already known, the Red Stadium is already known to be a hitter's park because it does have shorter fields in general, but it's also hot, it's humid in Cincinnati with slight winds blowing out of the stadium, so all that stuff is just going to help for carry. There should be a ton of home runs hit in this game. So again, I am going to have 2. I'm going to have 1 for each team, with my player on the Rockies being Michael Toglia. Not a super well-known player, but Toglia is kind of similar to Luis Robert Jr. in that he's having a pretty good season overall, but he also missed some time in the middle of the season, so he doesn't have enough at-bats to qualify. But if you just look at his season-long stats, they're pretty impressive. He ties Luis Robert Jr. They both have 10 home runs on the season. Toglia has an ISO rate of 23.6%, which is not quite in the excellent category, but is still in the great category, with a barrel rate of 16.3%. That would give him the 16th best ISO rate and the 8th best barrel rate. From there, he has a hard hit rate of 50%, which would be the 16th best in the MLB, an average exit velocity of 92.3 miles per hour, which would be the 20th best in the MLB, and a respectable, not phenomenal, but respectable fly ball rate of 41.8%. Toglia is also, he's a switch hitter, so depending on the handedness of the pitcher, it's going to depend where he's batting tonight. He is going to be facing a left-handed pitcher, so he's going to be batting righty, and he is much, much better batting righty, also saying he's much, much better when he's facing left-handed pitching. Half of his home runs, 5 of his 10 home runs, have come against left-handed pitching, and that's despite the fact that he's seen twice as many right-handed pitchers. So half the home runs and also half the at-bats is pretty impressive. His ISO rate goes up to 30.6% against left-handed pitching. It's only 20.2% against righties. And similar to Luis Robert Jr., he's facing a very matchable pitcher. Andrew Abbott of the Reds is who he's facing up against, obviously a left-handed pitcher. Abbott allows a fly ball rate, literally the worst in the MLB, 49.7% fly ball rate, worst in the MLB, while also allowing the second worst launch angle in the MLB at 21.5 degrees. Those are really bad. He allows a lot of fly balls, a lot of balls put in the air, and he's worse against righties. 14 of his 16 home runs have come against right-handed hitters. Granted, that is in a larger sample size, but also his stats are just bad against righties, not even talking about the sample size. His home run per 9 against righties would be 1.74. That would be the second worst home run per 9 in the MLB. And the biggest reason why is his fly ball rate that's already bad is even higher against right-handed hitters. It's up to 53.5% against righties. So Toglia, not a super well-known name, but definitely a good batter. Let's hope that he comes through mashing one for us tonight. Now for our third and final pick of the video. As I mentioned, we're sticking in the Rockies versus Reds game, taking Jeimer Candelario of the Reds, plus 470 odds at FanDuel. So this one, it's a little bit of a longer shot, so I'm just going to put a half unit on this one as opposed to the 3/4 of a unit that I put on the first 2 batters. But I really, really do like this play as well. Obviously, Candelario gets the same benefits as Michael Toglia as playing at Reds Stadium, shorter fields, good weather, all that good stuff. And this is another situation where we are backing a hot batter. We're backing a hot batter going up against the bad pitcher. And in this one specifically, the batter has a great history of success against the pitcher. Now we're going to get into all that. If you look at the entire season, Candelario, he doesn't have quite the same impressive statistics that Luis Robert Jr. and Michael Toglia have. He's still having a respectable season overall, and he's been much better recently since June 1st. So a decent sample size, like over 5 weeks of a sample size. He has hit 8 home runs with an ISO rate of 24.8%. And, in that stretch just below the excellent category. Kind of funny, he's another switch hitter. I don't normally make sure I'm targeting a bunch of switch hitters. That's just kind of how it happened today. But he's a switch hitter who's the opposite of Michael Toglia. He is much better when he is batting lefty, when he is facing a right-handed pitcher. That's going to be the case tonight. Ryan Feltner is pitching for the Rockies. If you look at his whole season, Candelario's ISO rate goes from 10.8% against lefties, which is terrible, up to 26.6% against right-handed pitching. That is literally the difference of an excellent batter in terms of power versus basically me out there trying to hit left-handed pitching. Is kind of the difference of him going against a lefty versus a righty. 13 of his 14 home runs have come against righties. Now that obviously is with a larger sample size, but he has dramatic splits, dramatic increases going up in his fly ball rate and his hard hit rate going up against lefties versus righties. Much, much, much better fly ball rate and hard hit rate going up against righties. Obviously, those two numbers are very good for hitting home runs. In Feltner, he's worse against left-handed hitters. 8 of his 12 home runs have come to left-handed hitters. His fly ball rate, his pull rate, his hard hit rate are all dramatically higher, dramatically worse against lefties. And as I mentioned, these two have the batter has a great history against the pitcher. Candelario has faced Feltner 6 times in his career, 3 this year, 3 last year. In those 6 at-bats, he's got 1 home run, 1 double, and 1 single. That includes these two just matched up earlier this season on June 3rd, in which both his extra base hits, so his double and his home run happened when these two faced off a little bit over a month ago. In 3 at-bats, he had 1 ground out, 1 home run, 1 double. Very, very good success against Feltner. Let's hope that history repeats itself and that Candelario goes off once again against Feltner. This would also be a good play to take total bases if you wanted to be a little bit safer as opposed to just taking the home run. And that is an option for you, but we're obviously this is the Dong report, not the total bases report. So let's hope he dongs one, and that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in. If we just get one of these guys to hit a home run, we will be profitable for the day. If we get multiple, we will be very profitable, so let's hope for that. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe. Remember to check out the Dub Club if you are interested. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.